In this WrestleTalk news, Roman Reigns buries the entire WWE roster, news on WWE getting more frequent talent shakeups, and much more. So subscribe to WrestleTalk for daily wrestling news and for the return of Adam Blompier here this Sunday, where he'll have a top 10 list recap of this week's biggest wrestling stories.
Support WrestleTalk!
So, with Roman Reigns being the chief dog at the table these days and easily the most compelling thing on SmackDown, the question of course becomes, who in the blue hell is going to be the one to beat him for the Universal title? Because Roman's guillotine chokehold on the SmackDown main event scene has seen him topple everyone from Daniel Bryan, Edge, Jey Uso a few times, Cesaro and Kevin Owens without losing a single match in 2021 so far. And that all adds to his sort of final boss mystique, but means that there is no one really looking strong enough to be the man to finally beat him. A fact that Roman himself covered on Peter Rosenberg's Cheap Heat when asked who he could pass the torch to in WWE. He said, "There ain't nobody. I can say my favourite number 2, Drew McIntyre. There are a bunch of number 2s, 3s, whatever you want to call them. We can rank them, but they are under me. How far under? Who knows? Who cares? How strong of a number 2 do you want to be? At this point, my favourite is Drew McIntyre. In a perfect world, if there is an opportunity to pass the torch to him, he's the one guy that has captivated my attention in that manner, but he ain't there. It's only because I'm still here and so solid with my stronghold. The flag is fully planted and I can't even think about who is next. John Cena needed someone to come in so he could move on and try new things. I will eventually need that, but there is nobody at this point. So it kind of feels like Roman is walking a line here with this quote between his character and his real opinions on the matter, but it is a bit of a burial of the WWE roster, isn't it? Not one single person is ready to be the Universal Champion. Not even the guy who was the WWE Champion for all of last year, Drew McIntyre. Not even Edge. Not even... Actually, I'm seeing a lot of names on this roster and yeah, he's probably right. Though considering the rumoured WWE draft is reportedly scheduled for late August/early September, we could be seeing Drew McIntyre coming after Roman right after the conclusion of SummerSlam. Then we'll really see who is ready. But that rumoured draft could be the start of a fresh approach to talent shakeups within WWE, as the usually annual event where the US title and Intercontinental title change brands along with the New Day and The Miz could be a more frequent occurrence and could have more things happening than those things I listed. Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast, he of much of the WWE news of this moment, took to Twitter to reveal that he had heard from a source that WWE talent and staff shakeups are something I was told would be more common heading into this new era for the company. When I pressed this person as to why, their response was, to be honest, it's needed. And I mean, if one entire year of Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton has taught us anything, it's that WWE needs people switching brands. It is the only way to stop them booking the same match every single week. Oh, on SmackDown, Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin, is it? Of course it bloody is. You could set your clock by it. So picking up where we just left off with the more frequent shakeups to come, this isn't exactly news, this is just me wondering aloud, but this could be a way for the networks to get in on having the bigger talent appear on their shows. Like USA must be desperate for Roman Reigns to make an appearance on Raw, and considering that WWE moved his match off of Hell in a Cell to SmackDown because Fox were reportedly annoyed about it being advertised on their show, I think the networks must have more sway in this than we might imagine. Also, more frequent shakeups is another way to plug all the holes left by the frequent releases. PW Insider reported that they were told that a few employees from WWE headquarters were let go just yesterday, with the marketing department being affected. That is on top of all of the other staff and talent who have been let go since the start of this year. A huge number. Now, streamlining the corporate structure might actually make WWE a bit more of an efficient business, but ditching a whole bunch of talent who you weren't using well through all of the fault of your own isn't exactly going to help that staleness factor that everyone keeps banging on about. So with that rod for its own back now created, WWE needs to find a way to remedy the issue. And same as ever, the solution is mine NXT for fresh talent for the main roster, and the whole process begins anew. WWE is basically the Dark Souls of talent management. It's a roguelike. Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer mentioned that within WWE there is a movement to bring in younger and bigger guys, which could be why we saw Bronson Reed drop the North American title on Tuesday's NXT, as he has also reported been backstage for main roster tapings and had a match on Main Event. So his call up could be imminent. The same goes for Karrion Kross, who it seems will likely drop the NXT Championship soon. So with all of this going on, Vince McMahon was scheduled to visit the Performance Center this week, a fact which reportedly had a lot of WWE and NXT workers privately concerned, considering the ruthless nature of all of the recent cuts and all. But according to Wrestling Inc., their sources in attendance said that Vince's visit was actually a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air. I mean, Vince paying attention to NXT is definitely something new and fresh. And importantly, the mass cut that people seemed to be dreading when this visit was announced did not happen. Now, McMahon was there along with WWE President Nick Khan, Bruce Pritchard, and John Laurinaitis, according to PW Insider, and so were a bunch of main roster talent who had been told to report to the PC in order to prep for the return to live events and shake off a bit of ring rust. But the visit was also supposedly part of a major scouting initiative across the company to replenish the Raw and SmackDown rosters for all the NXT people they let go. Because the cycle, the roguelike, we'll get a new weapon soon and we'll I don't know. Now, another way to replenish those rosters and shake up the on-screen action is to not have people disappear from screens for weeks at a time, like The Fiend, who hasn't been seen since just after WrestleMania, and his loss to Randy Orton, which I am still very cross about. Now, it's previously been reported that Bray is being kept off TV for a reason and that there is absolutely no heat with the company, likely why this is some good news for Fiend fans. Because Bray's masked alter ego has been advertised for the August 9th episode of Raw. He's coming back, folks, just like every demon from hell, with a sustained marketing push. Recently released WWE star Lana appeared on the Talk is Jericho podcast. In it, she revealed the pressure of the pandemic era in WWE, where in the bulk batch taping days at the Performance Center, she once did a 19-hour day to film a 60-second backstage segment where Chelsea Green would debut alongside Mickie James. When she then got home, Vince McMahon had decided to cut the whole thing and drop Green's debut, meaning that Lana had to go back in and reshoot. Hopefully not immediately. And that wasn't the only changed plan, as she discussed her 9 weeks of going through tables in that feud with Nia Jax in September and October. And that was meant to build to a big table spot in the women's elimination match at Survivor Series, but apparently a Samoan rivalry between Roman Reigns and Jax erupted backstage, where Reigns pushed back on them doing that because he also had a table spot in his match on the card, meaning that the payoff to a 2-month-long story and a lot of back pain for Lana was just dropped. And she mostly stood outside on the apron. She also opened up about the infamous engagement picture of her and Miro that came out when they were supposed to be feuding on WWE. Lana revealed that she was personally blamed for it, even though she never posted it online. She said that she only sent it to her friends, and then I guess that someone leaked it to TMZ. I got in trouble for that. I wasn't on television for 3 months. I was made to feel it was all my fault. I had to take the blame. And as for a WWE release, she said it came as a complete shock. She said, "We were promised to have gone in a program with Natty and Tamina for the titles, me and Naomi. We were supposed to possibly be champions." And that never quite materialized, and now she doesn't work there anymore. So, where next for Lana? She teased that she's had different things in wrestling offered to her and that she wants to stay in the business. She's also revealed that she's been a big part of Miro's success behind closed doors in AEW, as she seemingly helped him clear up his character this year, which has done him wonders because he's a TNT champion. Well done, Lana. If you tuned into WWE Dynamite on Saturday, you would have seen the return of Konnan to AEW, continuing his long-term partnership with Santana Ortiz and facing off in a battle of words with Tully Blanchard, which then turned into an ambush and Spike piledriver at the hands of FTR. Now, following the show, Konnan opened up about his appearance on his Keeping It 100 podcast, revealing that not only did he almost miss the show due to flight delays, arriving only 45 minutes before the segment, not knowing anything he was going to say or do, but also that the promo had a surprising producer, with Chris Jericho himself putting the whole thing together. Now, this continues Jericho's guiding hand when it comes to the storyline surrounding the Inner Circle, as Sammy Guevara revealed a few weeks back on Busted Open Radio that Chris was a mastermind as a producer for segments for him. This week's Dynamite, which was back on Wednesday finally, was notable for a few other reasons. One, it was the final episode from Daily's Place, the pandemic home of the product, and two, some major talent was absent from the taping. According to Fightful Select, Jon Moxley wasn't backstage at the show as he is on paternity leave following the birth of his daughter last month, and neither Dax Harwood or Cash Wheeler of FTR were at the show either. Admittedly, due to the weird scheduling of Dynamite recently, they were on a Dynamite within the preceding 5 days. What is television? Now, the return to Wednesday was also good for WWE because it brought back a lot of viewers to the show. Because the shunt around the schedule had seen a dip in viewership for Dynamite, which had been on the up after NXT hightailed it off to Tuesdays. But Wednesday's episode was a return to form, with the show garnering 883,000 viewers. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reported that 452,000 of those viewers were in the all-important 18 to 49 demo.
Talking about a subject that is close to both yours and mine hearts. Dungeons and Dragons is coming back for another movie. We had a movie based on the IP back in 2000, which wasn't particularly great. But this new movie is coming out now in 2023, and filming production has now begun on this.